Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscaboo Horror Reviews, and I figured I'd do a video kind of themed with something that, might have drawn some people here. I'm sure not a ton of people have been driven here because of it, but anybody who's come to my channel from the collaboration video I was a part of with Horrible Reviews, welcome to the channel. And I hope you'll subscribe and, have a look at my content. But because I was just part of a collaboration about disturbing movies, I figured I'd do a video that's a review and simultaneously a bit of that's also a bit of an advertisement for that video if you haven't seen it already. So I'm doing another one of my favorite blank videos. And tonight it is my favorite true crime horror film, which is Jim Van Bebber's The Manson Family. The Manson Family is probably the greatest true crime horror film ever made, as well as the magnum opus of director Jim Van Bebber. Produced over the course of almost a decade, The Manson Family is an experimental but truthfully told story of the Manson family leading up to and after the murders. The plot uses a surreal style to tell the story of the family's origins and criminal activity, with a wraparound story concerning criminal activity of Manson-obsessed young people in the 1990s. The film honestly feels almost like a documentary drama, featuring reenactments of events rather than actually having a consistent follow-through plot. These recreations are cut together with fake interviews, but at the same time, it's too surreal feeling to be a documentary. The film is made up in this cut-up, mixed media style with use of animation, different cameras, news footage, shot on video segments, colorful lighting, surrealism. To put it simply, Van Bebber's The Manson Family is an absolute trip. It's a one-of-a-kind movie telling a one-of-a-kind tale of American evil. The visual aesthetics are absolutely fucking perfect, which I think makes up for a lot of the film's shortcomings, like the acting, which really ranges, and some of the writing. Because this is a horror film based on actual murders, I gotta take some time to say that I don't support the actions of these kinds of people, and while I think it's shitty to turn tragedies into entertainment, I think that if a film isn't trying to glorify the actions of bad people, and is not necessarily attempting to make light of a tragedy, it's okay. I think that if a film is powerful, it can do something. And if there's one thing the Manson Family is, it's powerful, but it is also a supremely transgressive film. It isn't aiming to make light of the tragedy or romanticize murderers or glorify it. Its goal is to legitimately portray the Manson family in realistic light, not portraying them as mindless killers for their inhuman acts, but rather as young people who were manipulated by drugs, in the words of a madman. It's a lot more interesting and quicker to consume than watching the Helter Skelter documentary or reading the book. And I also think this film is trying to say something, perhaps, about the impact these murders and Manson himself had on American culture, as well as Charlie's strange iconography / folk hero status. Or maybe I'm reaching on that one, honestly. I don't know. The film is another audio-visual collage on the subject of the Manson murders. This film would pair very well with another movie of its type, Manson Family Movies. It could be an interesting double feature, although probably repetitive. It's a shame that the director of this film, Jim Van Bebber, is like a crazy racist alcoholic, because his films are legitimately really good. Deadbeat at Dawn is really great. The Manson Family, I think, is probably his best film from a filmmaking and dramatic standpoint. His short films are pretty interesting, but unfortunately the guy is just kind of fucked. And it really ruined the film's availability to the public, because apparently the Manson Family had a Blu-ray release from Severin Films, but after some stuff happened, people claim it was just a legal battle. But I remember at the time when it happened, hearing that it was because Jim had said some really, really racist shit. But apparently they supposedly destroyed all the copies of the Blu-ray that they had. But I watched the Severin Cellar on YouTube, and I know those fuckers still have copies of it. The DVD of it, the 2-disc DVD, which I own, is out of print currently, and it's a little bit pricey and hard to get a hold of, but it's definitely worth tracking down and seeing if you're a horror fan or you're interested in knowing more about about these murders. To be fair, this probably isn't the most reputable source for this kind of information, but if you prefer to watch a actual film versus a documentary, watch a narrative film, more narrative-driven film, rather than an actual documentary or read a book, this is definitely probably the best way to go. Honestly, I mainly just want to kind of like shine a little light on this film and point it out because I think it's a legitimately interesting and powerful and disturbing film that, while shitty that it is, based on an actual tragedy, I think the quality of the filmmaking and the film's genuinely startling nature and the unromanticized way that they portray these horrible people is something that I think keeps it from being at least a little too. It makes it, feel a little bit less bad at the end of the day. Honestly, the Manson family is probably the closest you'll come to experiencing an evening at Spawn Ranch with the Manson family. And if that sounds like an interesting evening, then The Manson Family is a film I would give a hearty recommendation if that sounds like something you'd be into. But that's it. That's all I really have to say about The Manson Family. Definitely a very interesting film. Definitely one of the better true crime horror films I've ever seen. I would definitely rank it up with stuff like Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer, for a prime example. Or maybe The Golden Glove. I think it's probably about as disturbing as The Golden Glove, honestly. But that's it for now, guys. Anyway, this is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.